If Göbekli Tepe turned out to be what you think it might have been, the place where advanced ancient civilization once inhabited or they used it, where are the metal tools? Where are the writing, the examples of writing?
Göbekli Tepe has baffled the world since its discovery. This mysterious ancient site in Turkey stands as humanity's oldest known temple, over 10 millennia.
These pillars dates back 11,600 years. It appears to be purposely buried at the same time of the Younger Dryas climate catastrophe. This is fascinating. And excavations were continuing. I'm like, let me revisit Göbekli Tepe. And I was astonished to learn that that 5% figure was still the same.
For decades, archaeologists couldn't explain why Stone Age hunters built these massive carved pillars when they hadn't even invented farming yet. The Göbekli Tepe mystery seemed impossible to crack. Scientists finally solved what this place truly was, and honestly, it's not what you think at all. The answer flips our understanding of early civilization upside down. What secret purpose did Göbekli Tepe really serve? Why did solving this mystery take so long? Join us as we reveal the stunning truth behind Göbekli Tepe, the discovery that changed everything. Göbekli Tepe has fascinated archaeologists for decades, but in 2025, a discovery changed everything we thought we knew. For years, the site was believed to be the world's oldest temple, a place built by simple hunter-gatherers for mysterious rituals. Scholars marveled at the massive T-shaped pillars and strange carvings of animals and humanoid figures, but they struggled to explain how people without farming, metal, or writing could create something so complex. The site sits in southeastern Turkey, on a plateau overlooking rolling hills. The enclosures were buried for thousands of years, hiding their secrets until modern archaeology began to uncover them. The carvings on the stones, including snakes, lions, birds, and abstract symbols, suggested intelligence and planning far beyond what experts expected from people living 11,000 years ago. Each circle of stones was carefully arranged, with precise geometry and alignment. The more archaeologists studied, the more questions arose. How did they organize labor? How did they pass knowledge without writing? How did they plan such massive constructions? In 2025, the discovery of living quarters near the enclosures completely changed the story. Hearths, storage pits, and tools showed that people actually lived at Göbekli Tepe, not just visited it. For the first time, archaeologists realized that the site was not only a ceremonial center, but also a home, a place where humans cooperated, planned, and lived together. This meant that intelligence, culture, and community were already flourishing thousands of years earlier than anyone imagined. The discovery forced a complete rethink of human history. Göbekli Tepe was no longer just a temple. It was evidence that humans were capable of creating meaning, organizing labor, and building complex structures before farming or cities existed. The more archaeologists uncovered, the stranger it became. A place that should not exist, built long before humans invented farming, writing, or even the wheel. A place that should not exist. Göbekli Tepe is astonishing because of when it was built. The stone enclosures date back over 11,000 years, long before farming, writing, the wheel, or metal tools existed. At that time, humans were thought to be simple hunter-gatherers, moving across the landscape in small groups, relying on wild plants and animals to survive. Building massive stone circles in such a world seems almost impossible. The pillars themselves are enormous, some weighing many tons. Carved with animals and abstract symbols, they form perfect circles and ovals. The work required coordination, planning, and careful thought, yet the builders had no writing system to record plans or measurements. Every detail had to be passed down orally, through memory and ritual from one generation to the next. The precision of the stone circles shows intelligence that defies assumptions about early humans. Göbekli Tepe also raises questions about purpose. Why spend years building something so massive when survival was already difficult? The site is far from known water sources and hunting grounds. Its construction required large groups of people working together. yet there is no evidence of permanent cities nearby. It was a place of meaning, not convenience, suggesting that belief, ritual, or shared purpose drove these people as much as survival did. This makes Göbekli Tepe a puzzle. It was an achievement that should not exist in its time, created by humans long before we thought civilization could emerge. It challenges everything we know about our ancestors' abilities, intelligence, and culture. To understand how they achieved such precision and vision, we must look at the giants of stone and the hidden intelligence that made Göbekli Tepe possible. Giants of stone and hidden intelligence. Göbekli Tepe's massive T-shaped pillars are more than just stones. They are evidence of extraordinary intelligence, planning, and coordination. Each pillar is carved from limestone, some weighing many tons, and arranged in precise circles. Animals, birds, snakes, and strange humanoid figures cover their surfaces, suggesting meaning and purpose. The carvings are not random. They reflect careful thought, storytelling, and symbolic communication. What makes this even more remarkable is that the builders had no writing, no metal tools, and no wheel. Every measurement, every detail, and every arrangement had to be remembered and passed down orally. Knowledge was likely shared through ritual, repetition, and training over generations. The precision of the circles, the alignment of the pillars, and the intricate carvings suggest intelligence that modern humans can still admire. The pillars also show the builders' understanding of space, geometry, and construction techniques. They lifted massive stones, arranged them upright, and carved them with skill, all without machines. It required cooperation, planning, and a shared vision. Large groups of people must have worked together, guided by leaders or shared knowledge, to create something so precise and lasting. Göbekli Tepe demonstrates that intelligence does not always come from written records or technology. Memory, oral tradition, and cultural knowledge allowed humans to achieve extraordinary feats. These giants of stone were not just structures, they were vessels of knowledge, art, and culture. They hint at a world where humans valued meaning, community, and shared understanding as much as survival. The scale and skill of Göbekli Tepe challenge the assumption that humans were simple hunter-gatherers 11,000 years ago. The site shows that culture, intelligence, and coordination existed far earlier than scholars believed. Humans were capable of vision and cooperation that rival modern expectations. Yet, for all its beauty and precision, the question remained, why build it? The temple theory explains some of it, but cracks in that idea hinted at a story far more complex and surprising. The temple theory and its cracks. For decades, Göbekli Tepe was called the world's oldest temple. Scholars believed it was a ceremonial site where early humans gathered for rituals. The massive stone circles, carved pillars, and animal imagery all suggested religious or symbolic activity. It seemed logical. Hunter-gatherers built a temple to honor gods or spirits, leaving the rest of life untouched. But the temple theory never fully made sense. There is no evidence of permanent settlements nearby. People would have had to travel long distances to construct and maintain the site. The labor required was enormous, moving stones that weigh tons, arranging them precisely, and carving intricate designs. Why dedicate so much effort if it was only a ceremonial site visited occasionally? The temple idea also fails to explain the living evidence found later. Hearths, storage pits, and tools show that people were not just visiting. They were living, working, and planning around the stone circles. Even before those discoveries, the sheer complexity of the construction raised doubts. How could hunter-gatherers without written language or advanced tools organize such a massive project? These cracks in the temple theory hint at something greater. Göbekli Tepe was not just a place for worship. It was a center of culture, learning, and shared human effort. It was a space where intelligence, cooperation, and purpose came together in ways that challenge assumptions about early humans. The site may have served multiple purposes: ritual, home, and a symbol of knowledge preserved through generations. Understanding this is key. Göbekli Tepe was deliberate, intelligent, and far more than a temple. Its builders were thinking about legacy, community, and meaning. And when archaeologists discovered that the site was deliberately buried, a new mystery emerged. Why hide such a monumental creation from the world? Buried on purpose and lost to time. One of the most mysterious aspects of Göbekli Tepe is that it was deliberately buried. Around 8000 BCE, thousands of years after it was built, the enclosures and pillars were carefully covered with dirt and rubble. They were not destroyed or abandoned. Instead, the builders took great care to hide them. Every layer of soil seems intentional, showing planning, purpose, and a deep understanding of the site's importance. The act of burial raises countless questions. Why spend years covering massive stone structures? The stones weigh many tons, and the enclosures were arranged with precise geometry. Moving this much earth required organization, cooperation, and shared vision. This was not a casual decision. It suggests that the builders wanted to preserve the site, perhaps to honor it, to hide its knowledge, or to mark the end of an era. Archaeologists have found evidence that the burial was slow and deliberate. Layers of soil are carefully arranged, sometimes with tools, sometimes with animal bones and debris left behind. Nothing was smashed or destroyed. The carvings of animals, symbols, and humanoid figures were left intact, buried but protected. This shows respect for the work and the knowledge it contained. It was a ritual act, a cultural statement, and perhaps a message for the future. The deliberate burial also changes our understanding of the people who built Göbekli Tepe. They were not simple hunter-gatherers acting on instinct. They were intelligent, organized, and capable of long-term planning. The act of burying such a monumental site shows they understood value, memory, and the importance of leaving something behind. For thousands of years, the site remained hidden. Nature reclaimed the land, covering the enclosures deeper over time. The knowledge of the builders was lost until modern archaeologists began uncovering it. The soil itself holds the story of intelligence, ritual, and memory. And then, in 2025, the most astonishing discovery came. Evidence that people actually lived among the stone circles, changing everything we thought we knew about Göbekli Tepe. The recent breakthrough. For decades, Göbekli Tepe was thought to be a place people only visited. But in 2025, archaeologists made a discovery that turned this idea upside down. Living quarters were found near the stone enclosures, showing that humans did not just gather here, they lived here. Hearths, storage pits, and tools painted a vivid picture of daily life. The hearths were surrounded by charred stones, evidence of fires used for cooking and warmth. Storage pits held seeds, nuts, and animal bones, showing that people planned for future seasons. Tools were scattered around: stone blades, grinding stones, and digging implements. Each artifact showed repeated use, careful repair, and thoughtful organization. This was a place of work, survival, and community. Food remains revealed what people ate. Bones from gazelles, boars, and other animals, along with charred grains, show that humans were hunting, gathering, and experimenting with early forms of agriculture. They were not simply visitors, they were residents. Göbekli Tepe was home, a place where humans cooperated, planned, and passed knowledge across generations. This discovery also changed how scholars understood the site. Göbekli Tepe was not only a ceremonial center, it was a community, a hub of daily life combined with ritual activity. People lived, worked, and celebrated there. They organized labor, coordinated activities, and maintained the massive stone structures, all without written language or advanced tools. The 2025 breakthrough revealed that intelligence, culture, and cooperation existed thousands of years earlier than previously believed. Humans at Göbekli Tepe were capable of memory, planning, and shared purpose at a level that challenges modern assumptions about early societies. Beneath the surface, radar scans revealed even more: hidden enclosures and standing stones, hinting that Göbekli Tepe was far larger and more complex than anyone had imagined. A vast world still underground. Göbekli Tepe has always been mysterious, but what archaeologists found beneath the surface in 2025 changed the story completely. For years, people thought the site was only what could be seen above ground: a few stone circles, some carved pillars, and a few scattered enclosures. But radar scans revealed something extraordinary. Underneath the soil, there are at least 15 more large enclosures, hidden and untouched for thousands of years. Even more surprising, the scans showed over 200 standing stones still waiting to be uncovered. Some of these stones are massive, like the ones above ground, carved with animals, humanoid figures, and strange symbols. Others are smaller, but arranged with the same careful planning and geometry as the visible enclosures. The patterns are precise, showing a level of coordination and design that is breathtaking for a society without writing, metal tools, or the wheel. Archaeologists now realize that less than 10% of Göbekli Tepe has been excavated. What we see on the surface is just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the earth lies a vast, complex world, carefully built and deliberately buried, waiting for modern eyes to discover it. Every new scan, every new trench opened, reveals more evidence of intelligence, culture, and shared effort. The people who built this were far more advanced than anyone previously imagined. The hidden enclosures suggest that Göbekli Tepe was not just a single ceremonial site, but a network of spaces with different purposes. Some may have been gathering areas for rituals or celebrations. Others could have been workshops where tools were made, and still others might have been storage areas for food or sacred objects. The scale of the site shows that this was not the work of a few individuals. It required a community, working together for decades or even centuries. This discovery also raises questions about human civilization. If people were building such a large, organized, and symbol-rich settlement 11,000 years ago, then the story of humanity's rise may need to be rewritten. Civilization may not have begun with farming or cities, as scholars long thought. Instead, it may have begun with shared meaning, cooperation, and the desire to create something that would last beyond a single lifetime. Göbekli Tepe suggests that humans were capable of intelligence, planning, and culture far earlier than anyone imagined. Excavations continue slowly because of the site's fragility. Each layer of soil must be carefully removed, each stone documented, and each carving studied. Archaeologists also use new technology, like ground-penetrating radar and 3D imaging, to map areas that cannot yet be dug. Every new discovery adds pieces to a puzzle that has been buried for thousands of years. Even after all these discoveries, much of Göbekli Tepe remains hidden. The more we uncover, the more we realize how little we truly know. What lies beneath the earth could completely change our understanding of early humans, their culture, and their intelligence. The buried world of Göbekli Tepe is a reminder that the past still holds secrets, waiting patiently for those who are willing to look. The hidden enclosures and standing stones are only the beginning, hinting at an even bigger story about how humans first came together to build, live, and create meaning in their world. With so much still buried and unexplored, Göbekli Tepe is revealing that the birth of civilization may have been driven not by survival, but by purpose, belief, and the extraordinary power of human cooperation. Writing The Birth of Civilization. Göbekli Tepe has changed everything we thought we knew about human history. For a long time, scholars believed that civilization began with farming, permanent settlements, and the rise of cities. But the discoveries at this ancient site suggest something very different. Here, people lived, built, and created meaning long before farming existed. They were capable of intelligence, planning, and culture on a scale that seems impossible for hunter-gatherers. The stone circles, the carvings, the hidden enclosures, and even the deliberate burial of the site all point to something extraordinary. These people were not just surviving, they were thinking, cooperating, and creating. They organized labor, stored food, and passed knowledge through memory, ritual, and oral tradition. Each pillar, each carving, each buried layer tells a story of human ingenuity and shared purpose. Civilization may have begun with ideas, beliefs, and community, rather than with crops and cities. The discovery of living quarters near the stone enclosures proves that people did not simply visit the site, they lived there. Hearths and storage pits show planning for the future. Tools and food remains reveal daily life. Families and communities worked together, perhaps for centuries, to build something meaningful. Göbekli Tepe was more than a temple. It was a home, a workshop, and a place where humans created culture. Radar scans have revealed that less than 10% of the site has been excavated. With over 200 standing stones and many hidden enclosures still buried, the full scale of Göbekli Tepe is only beginning to be understood. Each new discovery challenges old assumptions. What was once thought to be the world's oldest temple may instead be the first great experiment in human society. The people of Göbekli Tepe were laying the foundations of civilization not through agriculture or trade, but through shared meaning and cooperation. This changes the story of humanity. It suggests that humans were driven not just by survival, but by ideas, purpose, and the desire to create something lasting. Civilization may have begun as an expression of belief and culture, long before it became about cities or governments. Göbekli Tepe shows that humans could organize, innovate, and cooperate on a large scale thousands of years earlier than anyone imagined. The site also raises new questions. What other lost civilizations or hidden settlements might exist, waiting to be discovered? How much of human history is buried beneath the soil, forgotten for thousands of years? Göbekli Tepe reminds us that the past is never fully known, and that the story of humanity is far more complex and surprising than we often believe. In the end, Göbekli Tepe is more than a site. It is a symbol of human potential. It proves that intelligence, cooperation, and shared meaning came first. The people who built it may have had no writing, no metal, and no wheel, yet they created something that has lasted for over 11,000 years. They left behind a message for the future, that civilization is born not only from survival, but from the ideas and dreams that bring humans together. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.